Hello and welcome to the chapter on data file handling in Python. This is the part 9 of this particular chapter, and in this part we are going to discuss about data updation in binary file, that is the update operation in a binary file. So let's begin. So this is the chapter of this is the syllabus of the chapter data file handling, and out of the syllabus we are going to discuss the part that is highlighted in red. So before going to the programming part, let us try to understand the meaning of the word data updation. So what do we mean by updation? Updating refers to replacing certain specific part of data with new data without affecting the entire data. For example, let's say we have a text called I study in class 12. Now let's say I want to replace the word class by the word standard. So this is a case of data updation. Why can we say that this is a case of data updation? Because here we are replacing only a specific part of the entire data. Which is the specific part here? The word class is the specific part. The word class has been replaced by the word standard. But has the other part been affected? No, the other parts are not being affected. So this is a case of data updation. So let's do the programming part of data updation. For that we will consider a situation. At first I'll be highlighting the situation and then we'll go for the programming part. So what we'll do here basically is that we will receive the roll number, name and class of n students of a class. So at first we'll ask the user to enter the number of students of a class, and after that, based on the number of students, we will be receiving three parameters of each student. They are roll number, name and class. After receiving them, we will store the data which is given by the user in a binary file. After doing that, the next step would be to search for a particular record via roll number. So in the previous steps, data of n students will be stored. After that, we will have to choose a particular record which we want to update, and that searching will be done with the help of roll number. After searching for a specific data with respect to its roll number, we will ask the user whether the user will want to update the student name or a student class, and based on user's choice we will be updating specific data. Let's see, and finally we will be displaying the updated result. Now let's see how this is done programmatically in Python. Now since here we are dealing with binary file, we need to import pickle. Pickle is a module which is used in case of binary file. I have already discussed it in my previous videos. You can go and check them out. After that, let's create the file object by any name. Let's say it's x equals to open. I can give any name where now I'll give a file name where data will be stored. Let's say I'll just give as update, just give any name as per your choice, and since it is binary file, let me use the file extension .dat. After that, here which operation will be performed? Now see, first we will receive data from the user and then we will write into the file, and after writing, what we are going to do? We are going to read data from the file. Why reading is necessary? Reading is necessary so that we can update the data. So first operation is writing and then the second operation is reading. So ideally the file mode should be W+. But since here we are dealing with binary files, it would be W+B. This is how we write it. So the file where the data will be stored and updated is s_update.dat. This is any name as per your choice, and here the file mode is W+B. Why? Why W+? Because in case of W+ mode, at first writing operation is done followed by reading, which is the requirement in our case. Let's go to the next step. In the next step, we will ask the user how many students data does the user want to enter. So for that, let's receive it by int input. Let's give any instruction here like enter number of students. Okay, and then let's create an empty list. And in this empty list we are going to insert the data, and finally after data insertion in this list is done, we will be dumping that list into the file s_update.dat. Now for receiving data of n students, let's take the help of a for loop. So for that, let's do it like this: for I in range 0, n. The value of n will be dependent on the previous step, based on how many students the user wants to enter data of. Now let's give a message here like enter the details of the following students. All right, now let's receive, we had three parameters: roll number, name and class. Let's receive them by a variable, by three variables rather. Int input, roll number will be integer. Here I'll be receiving the roll number. Then for name, let's take another variable. Name will be a string, so let's take input name, and then let's receive the class. Let's take the class to be int. Class could have been taken as float, this one also, a string also. Let's receive the class here. Okay, so not directly int, it would be int input. Yes, so three parameters regarding each student will be received in these variables, and this loop will be running for n number of times. Now let's append this data which will be receiving into the empty list. Now we already know from the concept of list that append function is used to enter data into a list. So which is the existing list? The existing list is details. So we'll append this data into this list by the syntax list name, which is details in this case, dot append. What we are going to append here? Roll number, name and class. So after each iteration, the data will be appended into this list which is named by the variable details. All right. Now after receiving the details, what we are going to do, these details should be stored in the file s_update.dat. So how to store data in a binary file? For that we had a function called dump. Let's use the dump function. If you are unclear regarding this these functions, you are suggested to go through my previous videos. So pickle.dump, what was the syntax? Syntax is data object. Now where will the data be stored? The data will be stored in the variable details, comma file object. Which is the file object here? Here x is the file object. After doing this, see, after writing the data, the cursor will come to the end of the file, but now we want to read the data again. So what we have to do, we need to bring the cursor from this point till this point. Now how to bring the cursor to the initial point? By using the seek function. x.seek 0, 0 is the initial point. So seek function is used to bring the cursor to the initial point. Now 0 refers to the initial point. You can modify the cursor and take it to a particular location, but here we are interested in taking the cursor to the initial point, therefore seek is 0 here. After that, let's bring the data which is stored in this file. Now how to bring that data? We need to bring that data by a function known as load function. Load is also within the pickle module, which is already imported here. So the syntax would be pickle.load, and here we need to pass the file object. Which is the file object here? X is the file object. Next, let's search a record where we want to update the details. For that, now while searching, either we will find the record or we will not find the record. Now if there are two situations, we use a variable called flag. Now here flag has been assigned to 0. Now here let's search for a particular roll number. Roll equals to int input enter the roll number whose record you want to update. Okay, now how to search? Here also we'll be taking the help of a for loop for I in y. Why we are taking the variable y inside this loop? Because after storing the data, we will be bringing the data by the load function, and after bringing the data from the binary file, we will be storing it in the variable y. Therefore, I have given here for I in y. Now, if roll, we are searching via roll number, if roll equals to, now see there are three things here: roll, name and class. Now since this is a list, it will have some indexes. The index of roll will be 0, index of name will be 1 and index of class will be 2. So how to filter data? By using this format. So if roll equals to I0, that means it will be looking at the first index and comparing it with the roll which we will enter now. And if this condition becomes true, that means data is found. So we will change the variable flag from 0 to 1. Now let's display the current details here. Print current details are, at first let's display the roll. This is just a print formatting so that it looks nice. Roll name and class will be displaying it in this format, and then we will print that particular row. Alright, so this is the current details. After that, let's take another variable called update, where we will ask the user what does the user want to update. So for that, let's give int input, what do you want to update, slash and press 1 for name, slash and 2 class. Alright. After doing this, if update equals to 1, when this condition will be triggered? This condition will be triggered if the user presses 1 in the previous update condition. That means the user wants to update name. So we will receive a new name. Now what is the index of name? The index of name is 1. So let's do it like this. I1 equals to input, enter new name. So whatever new name will be entered by the user, that new name will be replaced by the previous name. Okay, the previous name will be replaced by the new name rather. Okay, and since here which data type we are using list, and since lists are mutable, so data can be replaced in place. That's one of the characteristic of list. Else we can give else, or we can give another if condition. If update equals to 2, or we can give like this. Elif also can be given here. Elif update equals to 2, I2 equals to input. Okay, here for class it is integer, so let's give here int input, enter new class. If someone wants to update the class, then this condition will be triggered by the option number 2. Okay, else if user chooses any other key except 1 or 2, then we will give an error message here: invalid option selected. We can just display an error message here. Now see, flag was 0 initially. If a record is found, then flag will be changed to 1. But if the record is not found, then flag was 0 initially. After searching the entire file also, if we will not find it, then this condition will never become true. That means flag will be 0 even after traversing through the entire loop. So let's give that condition to check that a particular roll number is not found. So if flag equals to 0, we can give a message like invalid roll number, record not found. Alright, and here let's give the exit condition. Alright, I hope you have understood till this point. Next, if flag is not 0, then I'll take the cursor to the first position again and dump the updated values to the file again. So pickle.dump. What was the syntax? The syntax is data object, which is y in this case. Why? Because we are making all the changes in the variable y. So after making the changes in this loop, we will be dumping it again into the original file y comma x. Got it? And then we will be displaying something like data updated successfully. Alright, after that let's display the updated data like for I in y, and if roll number equals to I0, we will display only the updated record. Therefore this filtering is done. This is the same filtering which we have done here. So just display the data now. Print, display any message like updated details are, print roll name class, print I here, and then finally we will close the file object here. Alright, after doing all these things, let me save this file. I hope that it will run. So I'll give like update operation binary. I can give any name, but make sure you give the file extension py at the end. Now let's run the file. Here it is asking me to enter number of students. Let's enter number of students as 2. Let's give roll number as 1001. Let's give name as Elise, and class let's give as 10. Let's give the second details of second roll number. Let's say 1002. Let's say I'll give the name as Bob, and let's say class I'm giving here as 11. Now here what we have done, we have received the details and we have entered the details into the external file. Now here it is asking me enter roll number whose record you want to update. Let's say I want to update the record of roll number 1002. So I'll be entering 1002 here. So it is showing me the current details of roll number 1002, which is the details of Bob. So 1002, Bob and 11. Now it is asking me what do you want to update, name or class. Let's say I want to update the name. So I'll be pressing 1 here. So it is asking me to enter a new name. Let's say I enter a new name, let's say Bubbly. So I'll press the enter key. Now see, it is showing me the updated details. So it is showing me that the updated details are 1002, Bubbly and 11 here. Okay, now let's see whether this particular file is created or not. The name of the file is s_update.dat. Yes, this file is created. I'll just show it to you. Yes, this file is created. Okay, since it is a binary file, so it is in a unreadable format. All right, so this is how we do the update operation in a binary file. Now let's run the program again to show a different condition. Now let's say enter number of students, let's say 2, roll number let's say 1, name is, I'll give the same name Elise, and class 10, let's say roll number 2 Bob, and let's say class 11. Enter roll number whose record you want to update. Let's say I give roll number 1934. There is no such roll number. So as I press the enter key, what it is showing, invalid roll number, record not found. So there it is coming that your program is still running. Do you want to kill it? Why this instruction has come? Because in the code I have given a function called exit function. When this exit function will be triggered, exit function will be triggered if I enter an invalid roll number. So I'll just press here OK. Okay, so in this way what I can do, I can update record into a binary file. So this is the binary file. Here of course it is in an unreadable format because it is a binary file. So I hope that update operation is clear to you. So these are the topics which are covered in this chapter. Few topics are left which I'll be covering in the upcoming videos. Thank you very much.